He thought she was just another teacher he could intimidate. But when his hand closed around her throat, he awakened something far more dangerous than fear. He awakened her military past. The chemistry lab at Westbrook High shimmered in the bright morning light that bounced off the glass beakers and test tubes. The air smelled faintly of alcohol and metal, and the voices of students blended into a familiar hum. For most, it was just another ordinary class. Boring reactions, vapors, formulas, and quiet laughter between tables. No one could have imagined that within minutes, this day would become part of the school's history. Miss Naomi Harris, the new chemistry teacher, stood by the demonstration table. Straight, focused, dressed in a neatly pressed navy blouse. Her movements were precise, almost military. When she wrote equations on the board, the chalk didn't tremble in her hand. And even the laziest students found themselves sitting a little straighter, afraid to make noise. There was something about her presence, strength, composure, authority. But at the same time there was a chill. Students could sense there was a story behind her calm, something deeper than just professionalism. Some whispered she had once worked in a prison. Others said she had a cop husband. But the truth was far darker and far more real. By the window sat Dylan Ross, tall, broad-shouldered, and always wearing that smug grin. His last name opened doors for him. His father owned several malls across the city, a powerful man whose shadow stretched into every corner of the school. Dylan had grown up knowing one thing. Rules didn't apply to him. He laughed the loudest, broke the most, and never faced consequences. Teachers feared him or looked away, unwilling to risk his father's wrath. But Miss Harris was different. From the very first day, she denied him what he craved most: attention and fear. She didn't react to his crude jokes, didn't flinch when he walked in late, and didn't treat him like he was special. That infuriated Dylan. His control over people depended on their reactions: fear, weakness, submission. But when he looked into her eyes, he saw something else, something that unsettled him. It was as if she had faced far worse men than a spoiled teenager pretending to be dangerous. Today, he decided to break her, to put her in her place, as he liked to say. When she walked past his desk to check the students' experiment results, Dylan smirked and said loudly enough for the whole class to hear, "Hey, Miss Harris, are you really a teacher? Or just playing dress-up to cover your rent?" A few students chuckled nervously. It was the usual routine. Dylan provoked, others laughed, and the target wilted under the humiliation. But not this time. Miss Harris didn't even look at him. Her voice was calm even, but carried quiet command. "Focus on your experiment, Dylan. Your solution is about to overheat." The simple remark hit harder than an insult. It dismissed him completely, like he wasn't even worth her irritation. Dylan's smirk faltered. He wasn't used to people brushing him off, especially not in front of his friends. His pride, that fragile yet toxic thing, flared like a match. "Don't tell me what to do," he snapped, his voice sharp and defiant. "You're not my boss. My dad pays your salary." The laughter died instantly. A heavy silence filled the room, thick with anticipation. Miss Harris slowly turned, her gaze locking onto him. That look, cold, steady, and piercing, made the air itself seem to still. "In this classroom," she said evenly, "discipline and science rule. Not your father's money. Sit down." For a moment, time seemed to pause. Dylan's jaw tightened. His pride screamed not to back down, not in front of everyone. He straightened up, pushing his chair back with a loud scrape. "Or what?" he demanded, stepping closer. Her eyes didn't waver. There was no fear, no hesitation, only a quiet, dangerous calm. "Sit down," she repeated, her tone lower, her words deliberate, sharp as a command. And that was when he snapped. The boiling anger and bruised ego exploded. Before anyone could react, Dylan lunged forward, his hand shooting out, his fingers clamped around her throat, slamming her against the counter. The sound echoed through the lab, a violent, shocking crack that silenced everyone. Students gasped. A few screamed. One girl dropped her flask, the glass shattering on the floor. The hiss of escaping gas filled the room, mingling with the stunned silence. Dylan's face twisted with triumph. "What now?" he spat. "What are you going to do now?" And then everything changed. Miss Harris's eyes, dark, unwavering, didn't show fear. They narrowed with the kind of focus only seen in battlefields. Her body shifted, and in the blink of an eye she moved. Her hand shot up like lightning, seizing his wrist in an iron grip. A sharp twist meant a sickening crack. Dylan screamed, but before he could react, she pivoted, driving his arm behind his back and slamming him face first against the counter. The whole room froze. The quiet, unassuming teacher had transformed into something else entirely. Disciplined, precise, dangerous. The way she held him down wasn't random self-defense. It was professional, efficient, military. She leaned close to his ear, her voice low and deadly calm. "You have no idea who you're dealing with," Dylan thrashed, but her hold tightened, forcing a groan from his throat. Sweat rolled down his face. His friend stood motionless, pale and trembling. "Apologize," she said. The word cracked through the air like a whip. Dylan's breath came fast, ragged. He tried to speak, but her grip only tightened. "Say it," she ordered again, her voice still controlled but cold as steel. I'm sorry," he stammered finally, the words broken, humiliated. Only then did she let go. She released his arm and stepped back. Dylan stumbled, clutching his wrist, his face drained of color. The same students who once laughed at his jokes now couldn't meet his eyes. Miss Harris calmly adjusted her sleeves, standing tall again, her breathing steady. Her eyes swept across the silent room. Class dismissed. For several seconds, no one moved. Then chairs scraped quietly, papers rustled, and one by one, the students filed out, stealing terrified glances at her. When the last student left, the lab fell silent. The faint hiss of the gas burner was the only sound left. Miss Harris exhaled slowly, staring out the window. Her reflection in the glass looked nothing like a teacher. It looked like a soldier who had been forced to remember who she truly was. By lunchtime, whispers had already spread through every hallway of Westbrook High. The new teacher had taken down Dylan Ross, the untouchable, the golden boy, and she had done it with the calm of someone who'd seen real war. And Dylan? He didn't show up to his next class. For the first time in his life, he learned what it felt like to be powerless. That morning taught everyone a lesson they would never forget. Money might buy protection, but it can't buy respect. Because true respect, like discipline, is earned, not inherited.